Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Ducky Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends who discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world. Let's do that again because I didn't know you recognized that there was like your internet just cut out for like a couple of minutes, like a couple of seconds.
Oh no, I didn't recognize that. I thought that you just didn't like the way I said Ducky Sweeties.
No, I just saw you frozen with just the top of your head. I want you to replay this at the end. Let's do it again. Jim Marie, can you cut that out, please? All right. Hey everyone, I'm Wa.
And I'm Chris, and welcome to Ducky Sweeties.
We're two longtime friends to discuss the riveting and sometimes trashy world of reality TV and docuseries.
Yes, but through our own lens, which can be a little salty, a little bitter, maybe a little spicy, but at the end of the day, hopefully mildly sweet. Hi, guys.
Hi. So today we're talking about 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After, season 7, episode 14.
Stand by me.
Oh, I was
So,
thinking,
darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand now. Stand by me. Stand by me. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, okay. Well, just
I was thinking of another song and you sang that too long, so now it's gone from my head. It's like,
there's no other song. If the episode is called "Stand by Me," what in God's name song would come to anyone else's mind besides the one I just sang?
well, what I'm saying is
Beautifully.
that I can't tell you now.
Well, not as important, not as great. Listen,
Um,
just like Darwin, the fittest thoughts survive.
Great. Good one, Chris. Just like Darwin. Just like
So,
him.
Galapagos
Um,
Islands. Mm-hmm.
so I don't know. What are you feeling about HEA? Like some people, Maddie and Poodle, are over it. Are you over it?
Yeah, because I'm like knee deep in single life, and I really like single life, and I can't believe that we're like subjected to what feels like such manufactured drama from HEA, which is interesting why it doesn't feel like that all the time in 90 Day. Like some a single life. Like some of the Natalie stuff is like, "Ugh, God bless. But like I'm like, Debbie found someone, like it's so crazy.
Yeah, I mean, how deep are you in it? Like, when are you going to be waist deep in single life? That's my question to you.
I don't know what number I'm at. I can't tell you what number I'm at right now.
Oh,
I don't know off the top of my head.
is my Wi-Fi bad?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to wait for it to not be bad.
I can hear you now, so go ahead.
Okay, great. So I don't know what's happening. I'm the only person on my Wi-Fi, and I live by myself, and I pay for the most expensive. So, whenever I see that little thing, I will stop talking. So if you ever see me stop talking, that's the reason why. Cool.
Well, I think that we still record your sound where you are. So,
No, when I like
okay.
listen back to it, I can tell the times where my Wi-Fi was out.
Oh,
So
got it.
I don't like it. I don't. I think it like makes us look unprofessional when it's like choppy like that.
Got it.
Um. So yeah, I mean, you're right. I think single life. I was gonna say submit life. Single life is good. It was good, and I'm happy for Debbie. Very happy for her because, like, I just keep looking at her and I go, anyone can have a makeover and look great.
Look better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that's true.
and sometimes you look at people and you're like, oh no, like haram, you know. But then, like, because Debbie, I looked at her and I was like, Jesus, haram, haram, haram. And then she comes out with this. She's got longer hair and it's red, and like, I mean, the eyelashes are just they're bad, but they're good, you know.
It gives her a little something, like, yeah, I think that when you feel good, you you radiate a little something. It's very obvious that Debbie started to like feel herself in a way that she wasn't feeling herself before. She had just like desexualized herself and or felt desexualized. She was just like momming it up with Colty, who just God bless, and just like leading their like unhealthy mouth breathing lives together, in the middle of like Las Vegas. And because they got on the show and she got a little, notoriety and a little like wherewithal behind her, I'm happy that she took that as a way to kind of like better her life, and not in a toxic way, like not in a way where Larissa goes and gets like every surgery possible and just like turns herself into like, I mean, a crazy looking person. Like whether I think that it's just feeling like you have a little more going on for you than maybe you felt like before. Like maybe you're a little more interesting, maybe people want to talk to you, maybe just the simple act that when she walked around, people lit up and were like, Debbie. There's something about way the people treat you and also the way that you feel about yourself. And so there's this like sort of dance that happens between them. And it's interesting, maybe because the 90-Day World can be so cruel to its characters, but for Debbie, the drama that she provided wasn't necessarily mean-spirited on her part. She just seemed kind of like, I mean, a very interesting older lady, the way she talks specifically, like with a very culty kind of, like that was a very interesting voice when I first heard it. I mean, my eyes are glued to the screen, my ears open. So we let Larissa be like, whatever, queen of mean. And then like Debbie just kind of like got to be on the show. And so I don't think she gets a lot of hate. So I think the attention she gets is positive enough that like, yeah, I mean, this is like a success story in the way that like Annie and David are, Oh my gosh, you guys, I gotta tell you. You ready for a scoop? This is a 90-day scoop that no one can give you but me. Wow. So I'm watching The Crown with my dad, and David texts me, okay? And he's like, "Hey, like, how have you been?" Like, David and Annie. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, like, hey, good." This is on Friday night. And he's like, "Hey," I wrote back, "Hey, good." He calls me immediately. Like, immediately, like, a phone call where I'm like, "Ugh," like, I have to get up. And, like, my dad is, like, pissed because he's watching, like, Diana, just, like, ruin the kingdom. And then, like, he's like, "Look, like, Annie's birthday is Monday, which technically is right now, today. Today's Annie's birthday. But I'm going to throw like, and like Caleb's coming out, and like you should go, like it's gonna be like a surprise party. And at the same time, it was supposed to be a surprise party. Then he said that Annie just found out because like he was like, "Yeah, Annie, we're gonna go downtown Saturday." And she's like, "Why?" And he was like, so I guess he ended up telling her, but then threw her like a surprise party. And I went on Instagram and Caleb like posted from it, and I could have gone, but unfortunately, the next day was a Notre Dame versus USC game that I had told my dad that I would drive him to because he bought a ticket for him and his older brother, which is my cousin's father. And they're just two old guys that we felt bad about like walking around the Coliseum. So we told them we would go and pick them up. And so I had promised them that. And so I didn't get my butt to Arizona to go to Annie's surprise party. Why? Oh, her internet's out.
No, it's not.
No, I'm just
Well,
kidding.
your internet went out and at the beginning of this, so I didn't know that it was a surprise party until it came back in. Also, I cannot even believe that you didn't tell me. What if I could have gone to Arizona? Is it because he didn't invite me?
Yes.
Okay, great.
No, I'm not. No. I love you, but that was a huge sip of wine. You ended up going to work on Saturday or something like that.
Yeah, but like,
okay,
you're right. I couldn't have gone. I just like you just didn't tell me. I think that's so rude.
Okay.
I just think it's beyond rude. So then, does that mean that we should do their next season?
Yes.
Okay.
Great. So, going back to what we're talking about, which is happily ever after in this dumbass show. Did we start with a couple? Did we start with a couple yet?
No, we didn't. We were just
Okay.
like, giving them a little like, hey, here's us.
Chat. Okay.
Little chit chat about our lives. Like, well, that was some crazy tea. I cannot even believe that you got invited to Annie's party and you didn't go. And not only did you not go, you didn't tell me. Two, also it's crazy that your father still to this day believes that Diana ruined the monarchy.
Oh, no, it's just like it was at the time in which Diana was giving her, like, bombshell interview. When you watch The Crown, you know what I'm talking about. It's like season 5 or whatever. It's like she was just giving her bombshell interview that, like, it's not that he doesn't think that she ruined the
Oh,
monarchy. I'm just,
okay.
like, being somewhat like it's just where we are in the season, A. B, also, Wa, just so you know, the listeners, Wa never calls me anymore. Like, she moved, and she, like, never texts me, never calls me. So, like, for her to be like, "I can't believe you didn't call me," it's like, it's a two-way street. Anyway, go on.
You're right. You're right. I don't. And it is because I am so happy that I just like I I came home today and like was so happy to be by myself. Like I am filled with the most I am so content that I don't need to talk to anyone. It's terrible. It's terrible. And you're not like I was like, "Oh, my family hasn't called me." And then I was like, "Oh, it's cuz I haven't done anything for them either. I'm just like in my own world of like bliss." It's like I'm in a drug. It's like I'm in a heroin induced haze. Like think of it like that. I want you to think of like I'm on cloud 9. Also, stress of moving and everything. I've got so much to do every single day, but like I'm on cloud 9. So like just think that I'm in some kind of drug induced coma.
Okay, but all I'm saying is if you're ever driving and you just want to like talk, God bless. Okay, so let's start with a couple, shall we? 11 minutes in. Pick one, Wa. Pick one.
I want to say Miranam Wahemae. Great. I start with thanks, Chris,
Yeah, you
for
did write
understanding
that.
what's happening. Let's move on to our first couple. And oh wait, what? Were you frozen?
You were frozen.
I wasn't. We're
Okay,
having
Jenny and Sumit, I think is who you're talking about.
yeah, and that's how you say my name is Wahima. It's Miranam Wahimae. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm
great.
learning all of my Hindi. Or is that the language or is that the people? I gotta look it up. Anyways,
Yeah, because that's how she
so
introduced herself.
we start off at a Bollywood dancing class, which I thought was just amazing because your girl loves Bollywood. Your girl got into a Shah Rukh Khan like whirlpool about 2 years ago, and I have truly been transformed. And I love it that Sumit is like, well, I'm Indian. I obviously have the moves because like I'm a good dancer. I not only do I dance in the clubs, or did I dance in the clubs as a youngster? I also would learn all the dances from all of the Bollywood shows. And then he gets down there and he's like me. He's like me. I think I can dance still too, and I cannot.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was horrible. I mean,
Yeah.
not at all good. I mean, like really, I'd be like felt like he hadn't ever even danced, like any sort of like Indian, so or Bollywood, I guess is like what it should be. But that choreographer was very fun. And listen, I So He Can Dance has definitely showed a lot of Bollywood choreography. So I know what it's like to go to a Bollywood dance class because I've been virtually so many times and seen the hand movements and what has to happen. It's very high energy. It's a lot of knees, you know what I'm saying? Like things have to get like lubricated, and it's like super fast or whatever. And so yeah, I mean, no, not everyone can keep up, but it was a really fun activity for them to do. And like, here's the thing: there's no shortage of fun activities that Jenny and Sumit were up for this season. They're like, zip lining, honey, sign us up. Oh, Kama Sutra class, honey, sign us up. Vacuum cleaning, shopping, sign us up. But also, like, yeah, and we'll do this now too.
Dirty mopping, sign me up.
Yeah.
Also, you know what? I love that. I love that we now know that there could have been more things done if Sumit didn't go to work. So there's that, Chris. We now know. And even Christina is in on it. Christina, oh, are we going to lose you again to work?
Yeah, that's the Christina's like Christina's crazy. I don't know how is Christina so much on her side, her mom's side. I mean, like if she, I mean,
we don't know what it's like. We don't know what it's like to have that type of mother. I'm assuming that Christina has seen her mother go through a lot, especially since she's been a spinster for 25 years, and that Christina's father obviously like
never heard that word.
left her high and dry.
You
Anyways,
never heard
so
that word, Wah. Had you? I mean, I've heard spinster
she's
my
just
whole life.
uncultured. I had to listen. I'm gonna tell you, I have known the word spinster, I feel like my entire life.
Yes, I
I
was like,
mean, maybe I saw it in like Match Girl, maybe I saw it in Annie, maybe I saw it in, I don't know, but what I'm saying is that that word is in my zeitgeist. It's in my dictionary.
it was my second word,
I just like, wow.
and I knew.
Yeah.
I premeditated my life. I was like, da spinster,
Yeah. I
and that's
am a
where I am right
spinster.
now. Yeah, that's where I am
Yeah.
now. I know. I
It's just
know.
like, I just like don't know. I mean, I guess, in a world there are people who just wouldn't know what that word is if you don't read any like of the types of books I read, or didn't do theater, or didn't read the types of books I've read. So I guess that's where it could be. So Sumit is terrible at this dancing. And did you check it that Christina's girlfriend's name is Jen as well? So
Yeah,
Christina
it was.
married a Jen, yeah, or a Jenny
Yeah.
or Jennifer or whatever, but she goes by Jen. Because I was like, when Jenny called her Jen, Jenny actually called her Jenny, and I was like, what's happening? Why did you call her by her name? And then I realized that that's what was going on. So they get back to the house, and Sumit, it's announced that Sumit has to go to work, and then he says, "I've got to go to work, but I also need to talk with my parents." And she's like, "Great, we'll go with you." And I was like, "Whoa, this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea." And Sumit thinks it's a bad idea too, because he like folds his hands and starts to smirk. And I'm like, "Why do you think that it is in your somewhere within your place to go talk to some elders about their elder, your mother? This is your mother's fight. This is not your fight. Like, you
Y-
want to go there and see how he defends her against what? Like, I really like, unless when they are directly attacking her, then I'm like, okay, Sumit, you're an ass for not doing what you need to do. But for the most part, they're not directly attacking her. They're attacking his choices to be with this quote oldie.
Well, they attack her, but they just do so in Hindu. So she's never really quite sure what they're saying. All she sees is this, just like, like, and so she
Yeah.
knows it's bad, and she knows it's not good. She's not comfortable about it, but like, it isn't like she can actually hear the mom when she says she has big arms or whatever the hell the mom's gonna say. You know what I'm saying?
But like, also, what is Sumit supposed to do? I mean, I do understand that he's kind of like pussing out 100%. But they fail to understand that Sumit like can't lose his family. That is his culture. They truly just don't get that this man and Indian parents and in the culture is like very, very difficult. And her
Yeah.
her answer is to whisk him away to America where they can just live their lives. And I'm like, this person is never going to be settled. He's like, it's like, it's like he's, I don't know, it's just like ancestors and shit. Like in the States, we don't pay attention to our ancestors like that way. We don't pray to them. We don't think about family lineage like that. We don't think about clans and tribes and all that stuff. But when you're in other countries where ancestors and family and tribes and like all those things are very important, and they build the foundation of who you are as a person, you can't just pull that away from him and expect him to just defend and like run off into sunset with Jenny. Like, he wants both, and he's going to continue to fight for both. And having Christina there to try to tell them that they just quote unquote need to get over it is not going to work.
I think it's like, yeah, it's just such a misunderstood cultural thing where it's that thing where, it'd be hard for gay people of certain cultures to come out. I think it's hard for gay people to come out to their parents in most cultures, but in maybe like for, Jen and Chris, is Jenny's daughter's name Christine? I forgot. Chris. I'm like, that's my name. I got confused. Um, Obviously, she came out to her mom at some point. Or Jenny just looked at her and was like, "We're gay," like when she was 5. I don't know what it is, but obviously Jenny was, or is now at least, very cool, and it seems like she probably was chill and cool then. Jenny seems like a chill and cool, progressive liberal person. Where, and maybe not, maybe it was hard for them at first, and maybe they have gotten to this place. I'm not quite sure. But if, if Sumit was gay and Jenny was his lover, it would be hard for Sumit to come and tell his parents this for like a lot of these reasons. He can't have kids. Da, 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 da. It's different. People what people are gonna say. His friend. Their neighbors. Blah 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 blue. And so I think that there's this thing that's like, well, be yourself. Just tell them to fuck off, and you're who you are, and you're gonna love who you're gonna love, and if they don't get it, they don't fucking get it, and you're done. There's just that, which I know for people to be happy, that is a great choice for some people. And I think that is a great choice for some people. If like, and for some people, it's just not an easy choice for whatever reason. Now, Sumit's not gay, as I said, but there's a lot of parallels to that, of like him having to stand up for who he loves in his life against his parents who disapprove, and letting them know that it's a boundary, that if they don't accept it, we're not going to have him in his life. And then they would come back to Sumit being like, you're great. Bye. We're not going to have you in our life. And so he'd be like,
Yeah.
no, mommy, which is
Yeah.
why he can't put his foot down.
Yeah.
Because at this point, literally his mom would be like, great. We don't even want you at our funeral. So like, bye-bye, and Sumit's already trying. He's never had a power position to play here,
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I think they would feel more shame in their life if they ever accepted this relationship. And that's what Jenny and her family don't understand, that how shame rules this family. And it's just like the only way they can combat the shame of their son choosing to be with a barren old woman is that they shun him and never speak to him again, so that they can at least hold their face in society and said, our son did something we didn't approve of, and we ignored his dumbass. Like
We
we are,
try to stop it.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we're no longer going to be a part of his life. And so like I understand. I guess I just understand both sides of it, and I just wish that they would stop trying to force Sumit to submit.
Yeah, no, but you brought up the greatest point ever, which is like, it's actually very heavy-handed, this scene. So basically what we're trying to say, yeah, obviously Sumit is then forced to, for some reason, bring Jenny and Jenny's like family to meet his family, when Jenny right now is not even allowed. And for any other normal human would just be like, oh, at this time, that's not a great idea. Thank you so much, but no, thank you, not this time. And they'd be like, why can't we come? He'd be like, well, because you're not invited.
B, you're going to make matters worse with your American ideals, and you trying to force my parents to do something. And like, you're younger than my parents, and Jenny's older than my parents, and there's like, it's not going to work. And he says exactly what his fear is, that he's worried they're going to get there and make things worse, and that
and they say they will.
yeah.
They're like, well, listen, we're going to be very nice, honey, as long as they're nice to my mom, as long as they don't do anything that would ever ruffle any feathers or make my mom awkward, or be mean to her. And all that Sume can do is play over in his mind that every time in which they've been around Jen, they've said everything wrong. Like, in his mind, he must just be like, well, at least Jenny's kids don't speak Hindu. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Or, like, because if you do, honey, like,
Let me find out what the name of that damn language is.
I know, because we sound like ignorant folk.
Yeah. Okay.
I know, horrible. We're sorry. Okay. We aren't scholars. Unless that's
I'm a
scholar
scholar. I don't know what the
of
fuck you're talking
theater.
about.
Oh, really? Well, you're a scholar of Google, honey. So basically, yeah, like, it's wildly inappropriate for them to just like push their invite into this. But we know it's also like the producers, because things have to happen while Jenny's family's there. So whatever. And so it will say, will it be good TV? Yes, it will. Do you want to see Sumit's mom look at Jenny's kids? Yes, yes, you do. Do you want to see like Jen look at Sumit's mom and like a stare down happen between Jen and Sumit's mom? Yes, you do. What?
I think Hindi is the name of the language. Why is Hindi not the official? I think Hindi is the name of the language. Hindi. Which countries speak Hindi? Hindi is a language spoken in more than 20 countries. It's Hindi. Hindi. People are Hindu. The language is Hindi.
Got
okay.
it.
Yeah, I don't remember what the last thing you just said was, but I don't agree with them going to see the mom, because I was looking it up. Sorry.
Yes,
I don't
you
agree with
yes,
them
you don't
going
wanna
to see the mom, and
but
no
don't
way
you
in
wanna see it?
Hayden.
Even though you don't agree. Even though you don't agree, sure. But don't you wanna see that scene?
I mean, I do wanna see that scene. It just makes me awkward because I get real awkward. Like, speaking of Natalie, I get really awkward when she, like, acts too crazy about what Josh, and so, like, it's the same thing. It just makes me
Say it
cringe.
again. Say it
No,
again, say it again.
Josh? So the
She's
next
so
morning,
crazy. She's wild. She's
Mike. Oh my god,
She
and
was legendary woman for Mike. I can't. Go
yes,
on, sis.
she called me for Mike. I am legendary woman for Mike because Mike will never find woman tall as beautiful as me. But for me, Mike, he's okay. He's such a bitch.
Mike.
Okay, so next morning after that awkward stand down about meeting your family, um Jenny's like, why did you leave these dishes here for me? And I know this is now the running joke because she can't be this lazy. This
Yeah,
man
yeah,
cooked a
yeah.
5-course meal with
Yes.
chana and all of the fixings with, like, parsley on top as a garnish, and she's not gonna wash dishes. Madam, what else have you have to do?
She's like, "Why did you have to use all the pans? And why did you have to use all the" At first I was like, "Well, I mean, the plates are the plates or whatever." And like, yeah, he has to like cook more than one thing. I mean, I don't know,
Yeah,
honey. Like, be happy that you're not doing any of that, you know?
yeah, yeah, yeah. So then Jenny has a secret meeting with the lawyer, and again we have one of these scenes where the Indian person just is looking at fucking Jenny like she's a wild woman, like she's a wild
Yeah.
maniac who has come to India to destroy their culture. So
Yes, yes, yes.
the lawyer is like, hey, I would like, Jenny says, hey, I would like to, bring my husband to the US. And he's like, okay, well, just to first let you know, it's going to be 2 years. Okay. There's a lot of things going on, but, I really want to know more about your family. So, how, like, are you a spinster?
Oh, honey, and I'll be honest, I wouldn't have told you. I just wouldn't have believed that there would have been no way in Hades that she didn't understand what the word Spencer was.
Yeah.
Like, how did you not know or whatever? And also, I like the way when Christine said that there was no way in Hades she did let anyone disrespect her mom, and I was like, this gonna be good TV. Anyway, yeah. So, also, it's just like, yeah, it's gonna be 2 years, and then they get to talking, and they also discuss the fact that for some reason, also they could interview Sumit's parents.
Yeah. And I thought to myself, why? Because in my mind, if you're applying for a visa in the US, then somebody from the US consulate is the one that does the interview for you. I didn't know that, like, the homeland folk would want to have a conversation with you about you getting a visa to go to another country. I thought the US is the one that gave you the visa, not your home country. So
Mm,
when he's
mhm.
like, well, I mean, did you have permission? And she's like, well, no, they knew afterwards. We got married afterwards. And he's like, okay, well, how older is he? And she's like, he's 33, almost 34, almost 34. So he's getting up there in
On the
age.
cusp. Yeah.
And like, how old are you? Well, I'm 63. And he's like, oh, well, okay. They're gonna want to know why someone as young as him would want to be with someone as old and dried up as you. Like, basically, it's just like, and that man is probably closer to her age than anything, and the way he's talking to her is just like wild.
I think it's like one of those. It's okay. Like, you know how like you're supposed to be like guilty, or you're like innocent to presume until like assumed guilty, but like basically you're like guilty and you got to prove your innocence.
Yeah.
I think it's that thing where like when you get a fiance visa, it's assumed you guys aren't in love and you're trying to like weasel your way in. So
Mm,
from that moment of us thinking that this isn't real and you're weaseling your way into this country, prove to us that you love each other, like by like creating a kid or here's some pictures. Now you two are gonna come to us not only trying to like, weasel your way into the country, but then trying to tell us, honey, that a 34-year-old with a 63-year-old, and by the way, 33-year-old, let's be honest, because he's not 34 yet.
Yeah, it's also he's like, she's like, well, we love each other. We've been together for 10 years, and so I mean, it makes sense. You know, his family doesn't approve, and the lawyer's like, it has the family filed an injunction because they can do that. They can file. They can go with the police. So you want to make sure that there's nothing on record that says that the family. Do you live with the family? No. Okay. Do they agree with this? No. All right. Well, there's a high possibility that they have filed some kind of report on you. So you should figure that out first. Like, you're not taking our citizen away. Like, it was just like so it was so weird.
Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah.
way-
Oh, why would you hurt B's family? We both did. Okay, I'm back. Are you back?
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Like, they're like, anytime we get a report by a family, this special law, of course, is made famous by the family de Libby of America. Anytime a report is given by a family member, we look heavily into it
Yeah.
because criminals. So thank God for the family de Libby and the laws that we have
The
because of
Libby.
that. Yeah.
The Libby criminals. Okay. So anything else to say about them?
No.
Let's move on to the family de Libby. God, this is such a damn good picture of Libby. Like, right? If you guys are watching this on Patreon, you'll see like she just looks like a good mix of Jin and Becky and Boogie.
It's not a real picture. Her eyebrows have never looked like that. That's not her real. Like, when has her eyebrow? That's not her eyebrows. This is a fake picture. Look at her eyebrows in that picture, and then tell me in time in which you've ever seen such thick, robust eyebrows on Libby.
I've never paid attention to her eyebrows enough to know that that is wrong. But I'm going to tell you that
with you.
Huh? Why did you do a podcast with me?
Why am I doing a podcast with you if you're going to tell me to my face? Because if you're on Patreon, you can see we're looking at each other.
Who else would do a podcast with you?
Let me ask the question. Why am I doing a podcast with you when you haven't paid any attention over the many seasons to Libby's eyebrows or what they look like or anyone's eyebrows? I know what everyone's eyebrows and all the shows we watch what their eyebrows look like. I can paint them.
Okay. Well, I know what Eleanor's eyebrows look like. So
Mila's.
Andre, this is hot off of their interaction, and Libby is wearing the craziest sunglasses. They don't look good on her face. It's like, I get what she's going for, but those sunglasses are for like either an older lady who's like trying to have some pizzazz in her life, or like a black lady. Like, they didn't frame her face well. It was giving I'm trying too hard, you know?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And you thought they were good? Or you just didn't think about it?
I don't remember seeing them. I wish you had a picture. I'd be like, I'm seeing her being like, I wish I had a picture on them, honey, because I can't remember what those sunglasses look like.
Yeah, they're just like they were like rectangle, but not like kind like a trapezoid. And they had like they were thick all around and like a tortoise shell, but then there was like one of those little lines, those metal pieces. You're not even looking at me that I can show you right now. So I don't know, like a little metal piece right here like that like tied it together. No, yeah. Like a little metal piece right here that's not an aviator part. It's just like a weird like piece of metal from here to here. And anyways, they're in the car and it's afterwards, and she's like, there's a difference between talking and yelling. And he's like, no, there is not. I don't know what you're talking about. He's like, I like these fucking women, fucking. I feel I'm trying to tell them, Andre, they need to pay attention because I am someone from the outside and I have wisdom. I can tell you from the side who the problem is.
Yeah. They're like, no, you are inside and you are the problem. That's why we're not listening to you.
This guy is so delusional. But if you had to have a husband like that, just a thick, tall man with a strong jaw to like flip you up and down. I mean, listen, I know Andre digs her down.
I would never see Becky or Buki again. I'd be so happy about it. I'd be like, bye, bitches.
That man digs her down and he takes care of her, even if it's like I think that Andre we don't know this for sure. I think that he's a good dad too. I
Uh-huh.
think as much as he like yells and hollers and probably tells her that she's doing things wrong, he still will be like, "Let me change, baby. Let me do this." Like I get up with my like he's still like he's just wants to command everything from every perspective. And I
Yes,
would
and he
be like,
makes $750,000 a year. So, honey, yes, I'd be like, bye Becky, bye Buki, bye drunk ass Charlie, bye Feetsy Footsy Megan. I don't give a shit about any of you. Pam, Chuck, bye. Well, Chuck's on my side. Bye. I will just be singing Mary Has a Little Lamb for the rest of my days, honey. I'd be so happy about it.
yeah. So like understand why this man like is probably so consuming lib while he's like looking down at her and he's like, I want to fuck you. Lib, come here, lib. Okay, 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 okay. Okay,
God
okay.
bless Wa. Okay, so yeah, like he's trying to explain this whole ass fight, and Libby decides to hear this. Now Libby feels bad. Libby's like, I should have just first of all told those sisters. I should have told those sisters that I was having the kid. It was kind of dumb on my part. They, had a reason to be mad, and then like that took my power away, which is true. Like truly the matter is like even in like girl politics, it's like she was dumb for doing that. Why she thought she could get away with just being like, yeah, I put on social media. You should have just like congratulated me without them being like, bitch, you put it on social media. You didn't even like text us. She just like she didn't really ever have a leg to stand on in that conversation. So it's pretty obvious that afterwards she knows that she has to feel some certain way about it. And
Yep.
but even though she's regretful, Andre obviously is not. Now, what I should be said in this moment is, well, next time you shouldn't come, Andre. Maybe Andre shouldn't come. But if Andre is such a great dad, and he is, we have a new baby coming, and we're talking about the fact that like maybe we have to get a babysitter now. And he's like, maybe not. And it's like, yeah, well, okay, maybe not. Then yeah, you sit home with the babies and let her have a meal with the people that were like around her when she was 2.
Yeah, I really just think that Andre is fine, and so I understand why she takes all of his nonsense. So she wants him to take it easy on her family, because she's like, listen, they piss you off, they piss me off, but what we need to do is walk into any situation and just be the bigger people, because we already know we're going to be pissed off, so there's no reason to fight them. And I'm like, oh my god, Libby, that's such a terrible way to go into therapy, is to like choose to just be the bigger person the whole time. No, you have to like interact and not just be like like if you're going to for therapy, you got to like talk and be real and be honest with whatever's happening. So it just feels like a weird tactic that she's trying to do. Sorry, I'm just gonna put my phone up so I can see it.
No,
um
I like the fact of choosing to be a bigger person, which really means this. Choosing to be a bigger person means this. I'm better than them. I'm just better than them. So when I go into conversations, I'm just going to remember that I'm better than them. And if they get upset, I'll just smile with the thought that ultimately at the end of the day, I'm better than you. Like I feel like that's what it means. Doesn't it
yeah, but
kind of?
it's not it yes, you're right, but I don't think it's the most healthy thing to do because it can
Oh
feel
yeah, you're right.
patronizing. Yeah,
Ah,
and so I'm just like, it's not healthy to do if you wanted to do that. And he's like, fuck, I can't do anything because Charlie has just such a fucking punchable face, so I don't know how I'm going to be. And so uh the note says, on that subject, I already put concrete on it and I don't care. That is what this man, he is full of just like metaphors, and he just found a lot of American sayings, and he's just gonna say that. He's like, look, as far as this subject goes, I'm just going to pour concrete on it and it's done. It's done. I don't care.
mhm.
So in their next scene, Libby's wearing some kind of denim ruffly situation with like a cheetah bra underneath, and they take Ellie and Andre and they go to a niche baby store to look for a stroller instead of the good old Walmart or the Target, to look for a stroller. And they get in there, and all of a sudden he's looking around at all this baby stuff, and she's so excited, and he's like, Lib, what if I get deported? What do we do then, Lib? Think about it. You can't stay here. I need you to come with me. And then he's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'd have to like pack my car, my kids, and my dog and leave in 5 minutes. I said, Andre, if they're going to tell you that you no longer have a visa, they're going to give you like 30 days to exit the country. No one's going to expect you to do it in a weekend.
Yeah, you're right. But remember, it made me think of that couple that girl got knocked up by the personal trainer and then did choose to give birth in, I don't think it was Russia. God, I forgot what country he lived in. Remember, and he had a baby by someone else,
Oh,
and her parents came.
Alexi, or
It was something like that,
but
and
she
they
was like
showed her.
the third baby mama. And the third baby mama, the third wife, and he did not want to be around any of his children at all. Like,
And he had left them all when, like, they're pregnant, so she was
yeah,
just like, I hope I don't gain, and I can't wait to lose weight again and start exercising because it's really important for Alexi to, be physically fit, and last time, I met him at the gym when he had his, wife, had home after she gave birth, and she was a little out of shape, so I kind of, got him like I catch him like I leave him, or whatever it is, The whole
I
point of the
mean,
story is you they leave you like you got them. You know what I'm talking about.
no, just try to say it. You, they
Lose them
leave
like
you.
you get them.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And maybe not. I don't know, but basically it means that, like, if a man cheats on you or cheats on someone with you, he will cheat on you later. And you'll lose him because if a
Yeah.
man cheats, a man's a cheater. So,
Yeah.
whatever.
But he was a fucking he loved just to bust in guts. He loved to shoot the club up because
Mhm.
he just did it 3 times. And then we went to meet the other wife, and the other wife was just like, yeah, he just left us.
Yeah.
No, we weren't divorced, and I don't know. He just didn't communicate with me, and I guess this is the way he feels, and he doesn't even take care of his son anymore. I ask him to come and he won't. So
Yeah.
he's just with
Yeah.
you and your kid now. So just be prepared.
Yeah.
Um so then yeah, he starts to have all these ideas, and it starts to upset Libby, and I was just like, wow, Libby, that baby is taking life from her. I could see it. I could see that growing fetus just sucking the absolute life out of her, and it made
Really?
me, yeah, she looks spent. She was looking real tired. And then I'm always envious of women who have children or like are got pregnant, because it's just was such an easy uh depending on how old they were, not saying all women are easy, it was an easy feat. I'm just saying, like, it's something that I wanted. And so to have, like, to see this shining example of like what it was supposed to be, where you find someone who loves you and you guys like have a baby, and then he's like fully there and supportive of you the entire time of your pregnancies, and like even if you do look tired, that he's still there and he loves you. It's just like really nice. And so I was happy for her in that moment. Um but he's a crazy person, and she's just gonna have to deal with that for the rest of her life. So
That's true. That's true.
those are the drawbacks. So she really
In her
wants to
bed.
give birth in the US. And then he's like, Lib, think about who's going to help you if I'm not here. And I was like, Andre, her entire family, what are
Mhm.
you talking about? They're
Mhm.
not gonna not help her through her pregnancy because you're not here.
Mhm.
They're
He's
gonna
so
help
happy.
her. They're gonna be so happy. Another thing that I was always also like, I didn't like the shade of brown liner that Libby was using. It looked almost reddish brown, which made me think that she had some kind of eye infection for a second. It needed to be like not a warm brown. It was almost like a brown, like red, like, and I wanted it to be more of a neutral or not warm brown around her eyes.
I understand what you're saying. She's such a pale lady. She's so truly pale. That, eyeshadows and eyeliners can be a little difficult to, like, get,
Mhm.
like, to look good or whatever. Cause, but anyway, yeah. So, having said that, whoever did her eyebrows in that one picture, honey, or if that's computer generated, I mean, let's tattoo them on like that because look great. Um,
Let's
yeah,
move on to Jovi and Yara because they were dumb. I mean, how this is the third or fourth episode now that we are in Europe still talking about her not wanting to go home.
I know it. I know it. It's like basically like yeah, let's just get through this one. So they finally get to Germany, honey, and Katrina, her friend's gonna meet her in Germany. So they get to the hotel and she's like, take this baby to like Jovi, and Jovi takes the baby, and he's like, why? And she's like, you're gonna meet Katrina now? She's like, yes, obviously, yes. She's one of my best friends and she's here. God. So anyway, Katrina comes over. Now Katrina was dropped Yara off at the airport when she left to meet Jovi. And basically at that time, Yara looked at her best friend and was like, ugh, girl, 2 months. 2 months. You'll see
Yeah.
me. I can't wait to like hang out again, girl. I'll be like, our girl time in Kiev. Bye. And then 2.5 years later, a pandemic, a baby, and a fucking war. These two women see each other again. Okay. And now her best friend's like mildly famous. You know what I'm saying? God bless. What a time for this. They hug. Katrina's cute, like it's like it's crazy to probably see each other. You're always like, yeah, I have a baby, I'll meet her, like it's well, I'll never know what it's like to meet my friend. Hopefully, I never know what it's like to meet my friend after that person escaped a war. And so, for these women, it's like they just start talking right away. And so, interesting is, it's like what I really want to know is like everything about their lives. And I hate that we have to like have any sort of like manufactured Jovi drama. And I almost, but and so let me say this: it feels like I don't know. I just don't. Why don't I believe the fact that like this is really is happening? That Yara's just like, now that you're here, I think I want to stay. Did she think that he'd be like, okay?
You know what? Putting myself in the position, because I have family that's foreign, and I can definitely see that happening. Like I could definitely see a situation where you go to said country, and then you get there and you're like, what do I don't have a job. What do I need to go back to the States for? Like what
Mhm.
do and like and her point of Jovi, just like they keep trying to say like, oh, you want to separate him from his baby girl, and Yara was like, he be separated from that baby girl. Like what are you talking about? The
Yeah.
argument cannot be that I'm taking him away from his Milo, away from him and his mother. They don't see her enough for them to truly feel bereft. It's the control part of it, that they don't want me so far away, which that needs to be Jovi's main thing. Is like, Yara, I truly do not feel comfortable with you here. Like it's gonna make my time away at work very anxious. Like I would make me happy to know that you're safe at home and not in a place or near a place where shit could just pop off, right? And then, like, I mean, we're skipping ahead, but who cares? This is a dumb story. Like so I get that. I just wish that that would be his argument, because otherwise I understand where Yara's coming from. Like I don't think she's crazy for wanting to stay there. I think that he's a little heavy-handed with how he's telling her no. He's trying to make her seem like she's crazy, and that's what's causing her to push back. Whereas if he were to just be like, Yara, I totally understand what you're talking about, and I want that for you, but I just am worried right now. We're so close to action that's happening or had happened. And I'm pretty sure Ukraine, like up until the very end, like even watching Single Life, like Caesar's in fucking Ukraine and he's like, is everything okay? And literally all the people are like, no, it's fine. No, Russia's not going to invade us. Like they keep talking about it, they're not going to do it. And here's the truth. As somebody who was in New York City when the time that Russia tried to invade Ukraine the last time, like it's like this whole, the Ukrainians, I guess because of that, they thought, oh no, it's not going to happen. There's been a scare like this before. It's not going to happen. None of them took it seriously. At least like the regular people who were, whatever. A lot of people just truly did not think anything was going to happen. And then it did happen. And it's like we watched it live on Single Life of like Caesar being there and like asking what's her face if like everything was going to be okay. She's like, no, it's fine. And I feel like producers on the other side were like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't know if she's going to happen, but she's about to pop off. We got to get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like they took Caesar's black ass out of Ukraine, and then Caesar's like, I feel so bad. I want her to come to the US. And it's like, so I understand why Jovi's worried, because no one thought anything was going to happen until it happened. And then even hearing Katrina's story that like she left her apartment building and 2 days later it got blown up. I'm like, girl, how did you know to leave?
Yeah, I can't imagine. I mean, that's crazy. I also just like, yeah, so after she, like talks to Katrina, the next morning they all have brunch, as I said, and like, Mila gets to meet Katrina, and Mila like likes Katrina, so we like Katrina. Mila's like having time of her life. Katrina's like, nice to meet you. And Mila's like, you can stay. Mila's like on Yara's lap, honey. She's like living her best life. Like Jovi sits down, the waitress is like, would you like some coffee? And Jovi's like, Heineken. The waitress is like, it's 8 o'clock, sir, a.m. He's like, so anyway, but then like, but then Yara's like, honey, you know what? And I'm going to ask a fave. I'm going to make sure that he feels comp. So, beer for the gentlemen, Aperol spritz for the ladies, and including one baby one for Mila. I'm going to start her young. She can drink. It's Europe. So, they're all like enjoying brunch time or whatever. And this is where it gets messy. So, Jovi has already like put his foot in his mouth by saying that he doesn't want to learn Ukrainian, but now that he's here, everyone's always speaking Ukrainian, and so all he hears is just like Jovi, Jovi, you know, and he's like pissed. And so there's what's happening, but basically they're also saying we want to spend more time with you, blah blah blah, Yara, and he doesn't. Already has said he does not want them to stay while he leaves. He wants them to go as a family. Now here is also where I think, just as a marriage thing, you can't talk about this kind of stuff when you're with a bunch of people who have swaying opinions on one side and on one of the spouse's side. It's just like it's not. It's a know who you're talking to. I'm not a good marriage person. I mean, I'm not a marriage professional, believe it or not, but you can't have discussions like that in front of people when it's your personal marriage business, and you know it's going to be a discourse, maybe like an argument where someone feels differently, because then you would then showcase and like leave your relationship open and vulnerable to other people's opinions. And I disagree. I think it's a bad move. So I understand that Yara wants to stay. I understand that Yara's mom wants her to stay. I understand why Katrina would want her to stay, and all of these things I have empathy for. I think that the conversation is like, well, ladies, I'll talk about it with Jovi after. And if they're pressing Jovi, please, Jovi, and he's like, we'll have a discussion, and I understand. You know, that's all you can say. But there's no like to have him be like, Jovi, please look at my mom and she's crying. And Olga's like, woo. And in Jovi's mind, he's like, I've never liked that one, honey. So like cry your crocodile tears, honey, or like making me like lubricated to go home. You know what I'm saying? Like lubricate these joints. I'll make, you know, like a boarding pass happen on this fucking cell phone. I can't wait to leave, you know? And meanwhile, Talmadge is there, honey, whose name is Talmadge, who's like sitting there with his strong jaw, just like trying to like smack down some bacon with these like biddies. Talmadge gets like to give his opinion, which every time Talmadge gives opinion, I just feel like Yara is just shooting daggers into his like soul, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I think that like I think you're correct. However, we are watching a show, so we can't have that conversation be private. But they're in their 20s, and that is very indicative of what how 20-year-olds will argue with their friends
Mhm.
about stuff. I also
Yes.
think that too Jovi is being wildly heavy-handed. Like I said, if he had been like, "Babe, I understand what you are saying, and I understand why you want to stay. But the truth is that I will be an emotional wreck if you two are here. I love you guys so much, and I don't want anything to happen to you. And I understand that it's safe here in Germany, and like I could have strong jaw watch you. I get that. However, I am just so uncomfortable with it. And if you want to come back in a month and stay for a month, then let's talk about that. But on this trip, I need you to come back with me.
Strongjaw himself was like, I don't know. I can't really look out for them. No, if
And I'm
something
like,
happens,
and I'm like, Chandra, you had so much strong opinions in the car, and all of a sudden now you can't really speak. Come on now.
honey, for a strong jaw, you weak.
Yeah. So anyways, there's that. Mama starts to cry and like nobody cares. And you mean Jovi, you mean you're selfish, selfish Jovi. And he's just like standing there with his like underbite, just looking. So
Mila, honey, Mila's just like, I love that face, honey. I love it. I mean, like, sometimes she looks like she thinks that like every moment of everything is happening around her. Like in Mila's mind, she looks at the cameras, and I think that she's like, they're me.
I think it's so funny when kids grow up with like cameras shoved in their face. You remember that one episode of Jill and Kate plus 8 or whatever their name was.
No, that's not it, but
I
Kate.
know, I know. It's some
Jill Jill
John.
and Kate plus 8. It
I
was just like this lesbian couple, honey, and
yeah.
like but a
You
bunch of like
remember
half lovely Asian kids. Yeah, no, Jill and Kate plus
remember
8.
John and
Mhm.
Kate plus 8? Like, they to me were like the original 90 Day Fiancé, like, family, drama or family, like, a show or whatever to me. And so, like, do you remember that there was an episode, and I never saw one episode. The only episode I saw was when the kids were older, and it was like after like a couple of months or maybe a year or so of the camera crew not being there, and then the camera crew showed up, and all of the kids just like swarmed the camera crew because they had grown up for years and years with these people that we never saw, but they did. And I always think about like Mila and Eleanor and Lucy and like all of the 90 Day Fiance babies who just like happened to be around all of these camera people, and like how they like forge relationships with them low key, you know?
How come we never saw Lucy again?
Oh, because John and whatever her name was chose not to be on the show anymore because, you know, John used to be fighting with the audience. So they like went all about their cameo, like whatever life. Like they still share their story. They have like a private YouTube channel that you can like join and like, you know, follow with them. So, you know, they definitely kept their audience, but John was just always fighting folks.
Fighting fucks.
Yeah.
Okay. We do have one more couple left. Talk
The
about
best.
fighting fucks. No, I'm just kidding.
Woo! I mean, the truth is that like Kim and Usman and Ginny and Sumit really do carry this show for me right now.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, they really, really do. Like I'm so interested in their storyline, and as much as I want to talk about Kim so much because of the way she talks and how her and Uthman, she loves him so much and she's super fun. I think that they really did bring the yummy how's a heat, you know?
This segment is actually I mean, I would never have thought this segment would happen, and I'm so surprised by people's reactions or like their reaction. So Kimberly is back in America. You know what I'm saying? She got back. It's been like 6 weeks, but here's tragedy strikes. She's been back 6 weeks. Okay, when we pick up, she's 6 weeks then. But 2 weeks after she got back, her mom died. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm very close to the mom. We met the mom, very close to the
yeah.
mom, and she was just like, it was just her and the mom that lived together. And so, like, yeah, they were probably, as they were getting older, did things like crawled in bed together. It's just like that was her comfort person. And I feel bad about that. So now we pick up and Jamal's there and he's like spending time with his mom, comforting his mom. And now that her mom died, she like somewhat has like a little like renewed zest for a couple of things. Her health. She wants to like stop smoking, and she like did vape here and there. We would see that or whatever. And I think like getting control of her health. Like she's like working out at this time.
But
Well,
we never knew she smoked. Like she
mhm,
never put it on Front Street the way Angela did.
mhm,
We never knew she smoked. We saw her vaping that one time, at least me that one time. And so it's
mhm.
kind of like, you know, like interesting for her to be like, I got to get my health together because I'm by myself. And like this woman is in mourning. And I want to say my heart goes out to you. I know this happened a while ago, and I remember when it happened in real time. And like, bravo for you for choosing to come back to the show and doing it, because you were in mourning and you led us into a very hard time in your life. So
Yeah.
thanks for that.
For a moment, I thought you were talking to me, and then I was like, "Oh no, she's still talking about Kimberly." And then I also want to know like what the gardenia perfume smelled like. I just love gardenia
I
so much.
love gardenia
Yeah,
so much. Yeah,
love it. I
yeah,
love it. I
yeah.
love gardenia. I love jasmine.
And what if it was like a natural oil, like a gardenia? Like there's this like Arab perfume that I want to get. It's on Instagram, and it's like one that's jasmine and one's that's gardenias. But I'm like, I don't know how like heavy the scent is in order for me to purchase it, because then I won't be able to wear it. But if it's like a genteel like oil.
Yeah, I love a genteel oil. Send it to me. I'll see what it looks like. I'll see what it looks like. So she also dropped another bit of information when she's talking to Jamal that her mom loved Usman. Like Usman would call, and then like Usman would be like, "Mama," and then like the mom would be like, "Usman." They would just, like,
Boy, yeah.
they would just like kiki about that or whatever. Um, so we also find one more bit of information. Jamal says that during this time that Usman has been like really lovely and supportive of his mom. It's made him feel good about the relationship. And like he just feels like he's like been there for her, which is like so interesting because I'm like, what does that mean? Like how like for someone's mom to die is a big ass deal. So it's like And for someone to be happy with the level of effort you've displayed is great. Like, what did that look like? Was he calling her a lot? Was he texting or FaceTiming? Was there flowers that were delivered a bunch? Like, what did it look like? What does that tour
I
look
feel
like?
like it was just like he was calling her and answering her calls, like, and then he would see his mom scurry off to go talk to Usman. Because really, the truth is, what could he do? Like
Yeah.
what? And she will defend him at any point. She will defend him and talk about how great he is at any turn that she can get. Like even when they're having East African food and she's like trying to explain about something that she truly doesn't even understand, she makes it seem like, oh my god, it's so a part of his culture, Jamal. You have no idea how much part of this culture is. So like it's really big in his culture. But anyways, that like let me just back up a little bit. So she's like, I don't know what to do. My mother's gone. Who do I take care of? Do I take care of Usman? It's really important more than ever now for me to get Usman here because now it's just me by myself and I have no one. So I really just want him here. And so I just find that that's like not a silly reason, but it's like weird that she would like to escalate the trip now because her mother's gone and she's by herself. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird for me. So
No.
she calls Usman and he is in his studio.
Mhm.
And uh she thanks him for all of his support. And he's like, it's my duty. Like he is just like so happy. He doesn't even like have the humility to be like, no, babe, like
I know.
I can't even imagine how I would feel if my mother died. She means everything to me, and I know how much your mother meant to you.
Yeah.
And I want to be there for you because I love you and I want to support you in the
Yes.
hardest time of your life. That is what the fuck needed to be has said instead of him just big upping himself and being so proud. That is my
That's
duty.
I just wanna see a pic that's why I'm like, "Wow," like, were there many gifts sent? Were there singing telegrams? Like, I mean, like, in my mind, I'm like, "Are you trying to make her laugh all the time?" It's like, I seen he's like, "Big banana, honey." Kimberly opens the door, and it's like, "Kimberly," and she's like, "Oh, that Usman always making me laugh," and I'm like, "Well, I would like, was it I would like, is it just that he called you? I mean, I don't know, but here's the thing, it's really hard to get Ben to, like, even make a phone call, so whatever, he gives him big props. That was I don't know, that just, like, tickled me. Um, okay, can we get I just wanna, like, talk about this. Okay. This is what he says, and her reaction to me is the opposite of what I thought her reaction to be. So, obviously, the whole situation is that he needs to have a child for his parents to make him happy. It's like the bloodline, everyone has a child or whatever. Like it's like that whole thing, right? God bless. And she's old, right? Kimberly's old, can't have any more kids, barren, blah, blah, blah. So because of that, he has to what? Have a second wife. Second wife's happening, second wife's to bear him a children. Now we all thought, well, Usman gets to have his cake, eat it too. He gets to like marry Kimberly, but then gets to have a hot one. He gets to like bone or whatever and like produce kids from it. Everyone is like happy, great. How great for him. Then he says this, look, Kimberly, because we went to the office and they said that there's no like second marriage is allowed because of polygamy and it's like not allowed in America. I have a remedy. The remedy is my favorite brother, Muhammad, and I hate the other one, right? Farouk. Ugh. But Muhammad, the one I really like, has the son. He's like 3-year-old son, super cute. Okay. And I love that kid. Looks just like me. I don't know. Looks like we're close. I'm going to adopt him. Already my family. Adopt someone that's already my family, and then I don't have to have a second wife. You never have to be jealous of anything. No other second wife exists. I get one kid, and then like you don't have to do anything. All you have to do is like help me raise this kid so I can move to America with you, which is what you knew that I would have to have happen anyways. I would have to have a kid. Except that now you don't have to think about me effing anyone. I have an already made kid. Okay, so in my mind, I was like, holy shit, like Usman just like came up with the best solution possible. He's fine with that. He's fine with that. So in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, this man loves Kimberly. He's like trying to have a way where she's his only woman, like he'll whatever. Kimberly is weirded out by this, is like, oh, I guess it's in his culture to take on someone's kid, but I don't want to raise a kid. And it's like, you are already dating Usman, you're already gonna raise a kid. You're already raising Usman. What are you talking
It
about?
is so wild to me And this is where I guess this is my blind spot, and I'm going to say this sentence out loud. And I know that it's terrible for me to say it, but
Okay.
the fact that she doesn't want to take care of this kid and pretends like she's never heard of family members taking care of children is ridiculous. And she's lazy, and she probably had a heart. Like, I get it that, like I said last episode, or whenever I said it, that sometimes people have children and realize that motherhood necessarily isn't for them and they don't want to raise any more kids. But you then should not be with someone who needs to have kids.
Yeah.
You can't, like, it's the same thing with Jenny and Sumit. You can't, and no, it's not the same, because
Bilal and Shida.
Sumit doesn't want kids, and
Yeah, yeah.
so he's gonna try to get one to make his parents happy. But it's just like, you knew that Sumit needed to have a child in order for his mother to be satisfied. So he finds a remedy that should work, and you are so selfish that you don't want to take care of a child, and just so, like, take care of that man's baby. I mean, the truth is that baby is going to be all her responsibility. I can't imagine Usman taking care of not nary a child. But also, it's a win-win situation. He says that his mother isn't going to be too happy with it, but the fact that they're getting one of her lineage to go live in the United States to possibly forge a better life for those back in Sokoto, like, it's worth the trade-off. And like, Muhammad is willing to just be like, here, take this one. Just take this one.
I know that.
And it's like, it's what happens when you have family who is in the States. Sometimes they send you their kids. Like with David and Annie. David and Annie's trying to get either her younger siblings or her cousin's kids. They're trying to get 3 children back to the US to give them a better life. And you don't see David over here complaining, talking about, I'm 51 and I have to take care of kids. It's like, fuck. Just take care of these damn kids. It's just one kid too. And she's like, I already raised my kid. I already did my job. I already did Jamal. You know what I mean? It's like, girl, what do you mean you already raised your one? Like, I get it. You did, but you're marrying someone young. You've fallen in love with someone young. Be prepared to have to go back into motherhood. That's just the way I feel. I know it's terrible to say it. There's plenty of women out there who are like, I already raised my kid. I ain't taking care of nobody kid. Well, guess what? Don't get with someone who's 33 who needs to have kids.
That's true. That's true. So basically,
Stop. Say that again. So basically, you cut out.
Then she goes to the restaurant with Jamal, which is African.
It's also East African flavors. And if we know anything, Chris, what do we know?
That it's a lot of like anja. It's like Ethiopian. No, I don't know what.
Sure, it's East African, but Usman is
Nigerian,
which is on the
west side.
Yes, thank you. Great. Nigeria is West Africa. East Africa is Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia. You know, so East African is what's his name? What's his name? Ari's wife, husband. What's his name? Biniam. And also, what's her name who married that white man from Arizona? I can't remember her name either. That beautiful African girl who the white man had to pay the dowry, but he was poor.
Akini?
Yes. Oh, Chris. Come. Oh, I can see it's bad service. Anyways, Akini, that's Kenya. Like, it's East African. So the fact that she sits down and she's like, oh yeah, this is Hausa food. And I was like, oh, I didn't know there was Hausa on the East Coast as well. Interesting. High clock that. So I'm just going to say it. And Jamal thought it was fire. And I was like, I would like to taste everything that you're eating right now. You had a samosa? Delicious.
Yeah, we've had Ethiopian food together in Little Ethiopia, a little part of Fairfax, and I actually like all the tastes of Ethiopian food. The only thing I didn't enjoy was the bread-like, sponge-like vehicle in which she used to like put it in your mouth, which is this texture of a food substance that I guess I just kind of like wish it was not there. Anyway, having said that, it's cute that she really wants Jamal and Usman to be friends. It was very important for Kimberly for them to be friends, so much so that guess what? The season's not over yet. Kimberly is going to get her butt right back there, honey. And this time, she's going to be a friend. No, it's not an urn of her mother's ashes, but It's Jamal, who she is like, okay, this last trip was all about you and your family and you and your wants and your family and like the kids you're gonna have. And this is my kid, honey. My kid. My kid. But here's the thing. I want this to happen. I want her to go back and I want her to meet Mohammed's little like 3-year-old baby boy. And I want her to fall desperately in love. And I want them to show us how cute this little 3-year-old baby boy is, where she's just like,
No, I think she's lazy. I don't think she's gonna want to take care of this kid. I love the fact that she tries to explain away to Jamal something that she finds to be totally weird. She's like, it's his culture. I guess they just take each other's kids and just raise them. I'm like, girl,
yeah.
you know that happens in the US. Stop being obtuse. Like, it doesn't happen here. That happens all the time. People do take their family members' kids and raise them if they have a better
Yeah.
circumstance, which is what would be happening. And then
Yeah.
it's like, then he's like, what? Like, I think Jamal went full only child and was like, "Ugh, so you're just gonna like raise some other little kid and love them more than me? And like, how old are you gonna be? It's like 70 when this kid is 18. I'm like, yeah. Which, what's wrong? Grandparents take care of their grandchildren all the time. So let's just pretend that Kimbali is his grandmother. Like, it's not so crazy. My dad is 70 and he takes care of a 7-year-old. What? Like, when he said that, I was like, my dad doesn't even have the benefit of being 75 and dealing with an 18-year-old grandchild. He'll deal with a 10-year-old who's like autistic and will just like jump around on his neck. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? You're lucky you have this 3-year-old. Like, and then she's like, I don't know. I just really want you guys to get along. You guys don't have to be best friends. I don't expect him to be your father, but like, you have to do it for me. And Jamal's like, but what if I'm not going to pretend? Like, I'm happy that you have like a superstar, like gangsta boyfriend or whatever. And she's like, well, don't say it like that. It's not like he's like, no, it isn't he. Is he not a superstar Nigerian? Is that not what he is? And she's like, well, when you say it, it sounds stupid as it is, because it is stupid. But anyways, and so like he's just like, yeah, I'm not going to force a relationship. And basically Kimbali's like, look, I don't want you to fucking force a relationship. Just don't make me have to choose. I'm going to choose him.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to choose that dick. I'm not going to choose to be single.
Yeah. I
Because
no longer have my mom.
Yeah. Because you don't like him, I'm not going to choose to be single.
Yeah. She was like, see, she actually said this. She was like, well, I can't marry him until you meet him. And then he said, well, what if I don't like him? And then she was like, well, I'm still gonna marry him. But
Yeah. Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I thought that was so funny. Wait, I have a question. She loves her mom's gardenia perfume, but in her own life, she has chosen raspberry body fantasy spray. Why? Why? That's like the biggest thing. Like, oh, she knows scent so well. Like, she loves a scent. This woman loves a scent, right? She chooses her scent. It's the raspberry body fantasy spray and whatever. And then she also loved her mom's gardenia perfume. And so she has made everything you see that she's chosen, is what I'm saying.
She's like,
She chooses every spray every day.
yeah. She's like, respect me. Don't respect me, please. And I'm just like, girl.
I love that though. I love like, I can't get married to him until after you meet him. What if I don't like him? Well,
No, you have to like him.
you
You don't have to like him.
still met him.
Just
I'm gonna
respect
marry him.
just respect me, okay? Please. Just because you're the most you and him are the most important people in my life. I mean, you're more important, but
Yeah.
you don't have sex with me.
Yeah,
so
me.
you're
I don't
less important. But I won't say that.
Bye. Yeah. Oh, you guys, can you believe it's another episode done? We didn't have any Bilal and Shy, but interesting because, of course, she wants a baby and he does not. And then, here we are. So if only Usman could just have her baby and never loop it up and everything is fine. Wa has finished her glass of wine and here we are at the end of this episode. We have Love During Lockup that will be up. As well. So if you're following that, God bless. Other than that, We love you, and I'm getting through single life because I really want to do like a single life, at least for Patreon, something or other. So I'm still getting through it. I'm almost done. Other than that, Wah, as I've already said, like barely talks to me anymore. So
I want to
getting
give you the opportunity to watch all of the shows you have to watch. If I call you, then you might not watch the docu-series that we have talked about you watching. Especially that you're laid up with like a bum ankle or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Yes. Yes, the truth of the matter is it's like I actually did a lot. Like, like Saturday I just like hung out, like didn't go to Annie's birthday, because as I said I had to like drive my dad to the Notre Dame USC game. Sunday I hung out with some friends. I ate borscht for the first time and it was lovely. Borscht, by the way, I knew it as like being beet soup, which is like, great. I knew what gazpacho was, which was a cold tomato soup. And so but then borscht ended up being just basically, it tastes just like vegetable soup, just like a yummy, like vegetable soup, garlic and everything, just happens to be pink because of the beets. Anyway, so don't stop yourself. By the way, this is another hour 15-minute episode for what feels like no reason at all. But we've done we've done it. Thank you so much for listening to us, for giving us 5 stars, for dealing with our Wi-Fi. Sorry, Jean Marie. Thank you so much for sharing this podcast amongst your friends. It's a free holiday gift you can give your loved ones. So think about that if you are just really super broke. And if you aren't super broke, think about joining our Patreon.
at patreon.com/docusweeties, where you could do $10 a month to get the visuals of what you were hearing and an unedited version. Also, we should say that hope you had a happy Thanksgiving with your family. And if you remember what this day really is supposed to signify, that is like the terror that is the United States upon the Native Americans, we hope that if you are Native American, you had a good day. And if you're me, you ate stuffing because you made it from scratch. So we just hope all the best intentions for this day.
For this day that already happened 5 days ago. We love you
Mhm.
guys so much, and also follow us on Instagram at DocuSweeties. You can also follow us on TikTok and Twitter at DocuSweeties1. Other than that, we love you guys so much. We're so thankful that you're listening, and thank you for allowing us a little moment of your lives. And by little moment, an hour, 15 minutes. We thank you so much. We'll talk to you later. Okay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.